Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Board States podcast. We are your hosts, the jovial Jazz and radiant Reggie here today.
I like that, Reg. I like it.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Wherever you are, if you're commuting, you're folding laundry, if you are doing dishes, which is what I usually listen to my podcast, wherever you are, thank you for tuning back in. We're so excited to bring you another episode. We are in spooky season, and so to just start the conversation, we were going to talk about what would your board game themed costume be for Halloween? Jazz, do you have an answer?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know about you, but I love Kyle Farron art and what Leader Games does. So you give me any costume that I can make and be any character from Root, Ahoy, anything like that. But I'm honestly going to pick from Ahoy because I like me some sharks. And yeah, just give me a shark and I'll be a swashbuckling pirate hitting the seas and be part of that Bluefin Squadron shark. That's just me. Right off the bat. What about you, Reg?
I love that. I actually have a very similar answer I was at PAX West a little bit ago, and one of the cosplays that blew me away was a dude dressed as a lizard cult from Root, and they were passing out seeds, and they had a sign to join the cult. It was really, really cool. So that would be an honorable mention. Great choice for you too. Wow, we just love Kyle Farron. We'll be talking about him later today. And then my other one though is recent Clue productions have had added some diversity to the people who are the Clue people. Okay. Mr. Green kind of looks like me a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Or maybe I'd do a Colonel Mustard or something. I was always play yellow, so I'd probably be the first thing that came to my mind was Colonel Mustard. So yeah, let us know. Comment below. Spotify's got comments. YouTube has comments. If any of your other platforms do, let us know. You can email us at boardstatespod@gmail.com. If you are actually dressing up as a board game costume for this Halloween, please send us a picture via email. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be incredible. I definitely got to see it.
Yeah.
There's some creative people out there, man. When I go to these, when I go to the conventions and I see some of these cosplays, I just fall in love with some of the stuff. I was like, I don't have the creativity to come up with all of this. I have to have it someone make it for me before I, put something
Exactly.
on.
I'm just man, I wish I could think of it. And when I see it, I'm like, that is amazing. I wish I had thought of that, but it not the creative type in that way as well. For the episode today, we didn't tell you what we're doing. We're going to have a little state of mind, which is our typical board game trivia. Today, it is based on Balderdash. So I'm very excited to talk about that. Our main topic today is a board game draft.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do it very much like fantasy football, but please don't turn off your stereos right now. If you're not a sports ball person, we promise you we've made it gamey and board gamey. So we're going to do a board game draft. We'll talk about that after. And then we're going to end, as we always do, with En la Mesa, which is our first impressions. And we're going to have a joint one to talk about our first impressions of Ahoy, that Kyle Farron art game that Jazz just talked about, because we played this on his stream very recently for Leader Games, because they have added it to Board Game Arena. So we'll just talk about our impressions of that. But we're going to start with the state of mind. Jazz, are you ready?
I'm ready again to do my best. How about that?
Yes.
I've been mentally preparing for these, Reg. I've been mentally preparing.
We've learned that Jazz is he's growing. He's level 4 right now. He's on stage 4, level 4. He's going to be, by the time we're episode 100, he's going to be so good at these, and I'll have no way to stump him. It'll be amazing by that time. So we always do these trivia so that you, the listener, my dearest gentle listener, can play along. So just know that we're going to ask some questions. So today, this is based on another board game, one of my favorite classic board games called Balderdash. Have you played Balderdash, Jazz?
Surprisingly, I have not.
Yeah, it's old. It's an old one, but I think it still holds up. I've been meaning to do a classic board games that don't suck video for about 2 years. I will do it. I have the list of the games I want to talk about. Balderdash is one of them. Spoiler. It is a bluffing game. It is one of the original bluffing games. The basics of the game is that it's got these weird categories: words, people, initials, movies, and laws. And everybody is going to hear a word. So if it's a word, they're going to read the definition of a word, and then you hear the real definition. One person is the dasher. They know the real definition. Everybody else tries to make up a definition. and the dasher writes down the real one on a paper. And then the dasher has to read all of the made up word definitions plus the real one interspersed in there somewhere. And then everyone votes on which one they think is correct. And so if your fake definition or your fake person or your fake initials gets voted on, you get points. And if you vote for the correct definition, you also get points. And it's just a great little party game. I love it so much. Like I said, words, people, initials. For us, we're going to do words. We're going to do a person. We're going to do initials, an acronym. And the laws one is really fun. It's usually like, in the state of Kentucky, you cannot do blank. And then people will write, you can't marry your second cousin. And the real answer is like, you can't walk with a chicken in your hand down the street. It's like these real facts. It's like the weirdest trivia that no one would ever know. So it's super fun. Instead of laws, we're going to do a rule. So we're going to do a rule book from, you got to fill in the blank for it. So instead of, we're only 2 people. So what I did is I basically gave an A, B, C, and D as if we were playing a 4-player game of this, Jazz. You're going to be able to guess on this, and everybody else gets to guess on it. So we're going to start with a word. I tried to go these from easiest to most difficult. So the word is quarterbacking, because we are in the, we're talking about football, little themed in here. Quarterbacking comes from the sport of American football. So I'm going to try to read this with a straight face. And the real Balderdash rules, the dasher does not want to give it away. If they laugh because a fake answer is so ridiculous, then they're giving it away that it's not the right one. They get points if nobody guesses the correct one. So here we go. First one, a single player telling everyone what they should do. B, when players check the rule book too often. C, a player who is known for throwing components. Or D, in a board game with money, cheating when you exchange with the bank. Okay, so these are all about quarterbacking. A is a single player telling people to do. B is checking the rule book too often. C is throwing components. And D is cheating when you exchange with the bank. Jazz, do you have a final answer? What do you think?
Yes, A is my final answer because I do not like this during any co-op game that I'm playing.
Yes, single player telling everyone what they should do for quarterbacking. Final answer, correct. Good job. Good job.
Ding,
yes,
ding, ding,
I knew, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, I knew you'd get that one. I know you like cooperative games, and nobody likes a quarterbacking person in their games. It's brutal. And I love cooperative games that kind of mitigate quarterbacking.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, great. Good job. You got it. There you go. Hey, told you guys, he's ready. He's better every time. And again, I have forgotten to mention the victory points, which is always a Boricua cuisine from our homeland of Puerto Rico. And that today is chuletas, which in Puerto Rico usually are very thin pork chops. That's a big, I remember the first time I ordered a pork chop at a restaurant, and it was so thick and huge, and I was just blown away. My mom had always made pork chops that were like chuletas, which are usually thinner. I don't know if maybe that's just how it is, but yeah.
Nice thin. Like gotta have a little bit of that, the fattiness right on the bone. You gotta have those bone-in pork chops.
Yeah, that's so good. So he has earned himself, Jazz, 1 chuleta. Okay, the next category is people. So we're gonna talk about a person. All right.
Okay.
This person's name is Liz McGee. Okay, Liz McGee. A, the first person to coin the term D6. B, the original designer of Monopoly. C, the CEO of the publisher Exploding Kittens, publisher and game. Or D, a commonly used villager in the game Horrified. Okay, so this person is a real person, Liz McGee. Was she the first person to coin the term D6, original designer of Monopoly, CEO of Exploding Kittens, or a villager in Horrified?
I know that the original designer of Monopoly was a female, and that design had been stolen, so that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. But I don't know, something about that Horrified answer makes me want to kind of go with that for some reason. Let me just go with my gut, and I'm gonna say B. It is the original designer of Monopoly.
you all listeners, you can't see. I'm doing a terrible job of bluffing it with the camera. I feel like I was giving away too much because you're right. It is
nice.
The original
nice.
Good job. Yes. That is, I just did a video on this. I'm reading the book called The Monopolists, which talks about the whole origin story of the game Monopoly. It's fascinating. It is fascinating. She was an anti-capitalist. Like her whole thing was she made it as a, what do you call that? A critique of monopolies, as a critique of capitalism is what she did that. So good job. Wow, you're 2 for 2. 2 chuletas for Jazz. Yes.
Listen, I've been getting my mind right for these, Reg.
This is great. Wow. I hope that the listeners are doing it just as well. All right. Initials. This is my favorite category in Balderdash. It's just so fun to just come up with what an acronym could stand for. So this one is FLGS, which I have a feeling you might know, but I might throw you off here. So here we go. A, French ludology game system. B, fiddly little game setup. C is friendly looking for games, which is a little bit of a stretch on that, but I was like, I see what that is. D, friendly local game store. Okay, so A, French ludology game system. B, fiddly little game system. Fiddly little game setup. C, friends looking for games. Or D, friendly local game store.
As much as I like the answer to B, that we can describe like some of these games that take forever to mess with all these fiddly little game setups, my answer is going to be friendly local game store, D, and I'm locking it in.
You're locking it in. You knew it. I don't know. I was like, that one's maybe people didn't know it, but good job. It is friendly local game store. You are 3 for 3, Jazz, on episode 4. Wow, we're off to a great start. All right, here's
nice.
The toughest one, which in Balderdash is normally laws. Instead, the laws of board games are the rule book. And one board game in particular called Root, on their website, it is called the Law of Root. The rule book is called the Law of Root. It is a living document that they update or like errata if they need to. So we're going to go with a rule from Root. You have to fill in the blank here. Okay. So the beginning of the rule is step 2, roll dice. Roll both dice. The attacker will blank. Okay. And I'm going to fill in the blank with A, B, C, and D. Okay. Roll both dice. The attacker will A, select which roll to deal hits equal to. The defender will deal hits equal to the other roll. B, deal hits equal to the roll not selected by the defender, basically the opposite. C, deal hits equal to the higher roll, and the defender will deal hits equal to the lower roll. Or D, deal hits equal to the number of their pieces in the clearing plus the higher roll. So the attacker will do what is what those are, A through C. You want me to read them again, or you feel confident?
No, I think I got it, Reg.
Yeah, I know you know this game, so let's see. Yeah.
I believe the answer is C. The attacker will choose, they will actually take the results of the die roll that is the highest, and then the defender will take the lowest. And I think there is a flip-flop on one of the actual factions. But yes, yeah. It is C.
Yep, the Woodland Alliance does break this rule. You are correct. It is C. The attacker will deal hits equal to the higher roll, and the defender will deal hits equal to the lower roll. Good job. Wow. You 4 for 4 on episode 4.
Listen, I don't think 4 on 4, right? I don't think I could eat all 4 of those chuletas. So I'm gonna share them with the listeners out there. All right. So if you have never had a good Boricua chuleta, this is the right time, guys. I have 3 to give up. Okay.
That's awesome. We'll be sharing those with you. Send your mailing addresses in. We'll put it in a freezer like a Oregon cooler or something like that. That'll be great. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna do a board game draft, and this is something that I should shout out. Other channels do this all the time, YouTube and podcasts especially, but we're gonna do it a little bit differently because we are in the middle of the football season. We're both like NFL fans. Jazz and I were literally watching the NFL and baseball. I want to shout out right now, if you're listening to this in the future, you will know if my beloved Mariners are in the World Series or not. The game is going on right now as we speak, and I'm choosing to record this for you. We suffer for our art. We sacrifice for the listeners. We're not watching the games that we really should be. But what we're going to do is we have 6 categories. And we're each going to draft one game in each of the categories, and we're going to do a snake draft. And at the end, we'll each have 6 games, one for each category. And we're going to have you, the listeners, our beloved listeners, dearest, gentle listeners, you will get a Google form to vote on. We're going to put it in the description wherever you're at. There'll be a Google form that anybody can access. You can just vote on which one you like better. Just which of the 6 games between Jazz's collection of 6 and my collection of 6 do you like better? And we're going to do a snake draft. But before we do that, I'll let Jazz explain each of the 6 categories. They are football, American football related. But don't worry, if you're not a sports ball person, he's going to describe it to you in perfect, reasonable gamer terms so you understand. If you are a football person, I think you will appreciate how we selected these, though.
Awesome. So should I start with a dun 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 dun? Welcome everybody to the Board States Podcast Draft, Episode 4, and we are here drafting our best lineup of board games, each given by a category for each National Football League position, with the first position being the quarterback. This actual category will be a co-op game, a game that people are playing together, no actual quarterbacking at the game, but a co-op
nice
game.
Little callback there.
That we think is our favorite that would fill this category. The next position is going to be the running back. That's that small, bulky guy that just stays behind the line and is trying to get those quick yards. This is going to be that 15-minute or less filler game. All right, so I think this was the toughest one for me to think of when it came to it, Reg.
Me too. 15 minutes is a very fast game, but we were just trying to evoke running backs are fast, games are fast, so we're trying to be a really quick 15-minute or less game as told by BGG, or at least if we say it can be played in 15 minutes, then we'll veto if we disagree.
Yes. Now the next and third category will be the tight end category. This is on the NFL in National Football League. This is a guy who plays a receiver as well as a lineman. So they kind of, they're playing 2 positions at the same time. So we decided to make this that hybrid game, that multi-mechanic game that when you think of it, you say, okay, these are the 2 or 3 mechanics that kind of fit this game and make it encompass. So that's kind of where we went with this.
And the example of that being Lost Ruins of Arnak is
correct.
A worker placement game and a deck building game. So that counts as a hybrid. I'm very excited to see what you have picked in your shortlist once we get to it.
And the fourth category here is the wide receiver. This is when I think of what we talk about, I think of one specific, wide receiver in the NFL, like Odell Beckham Jr., this party type guy. All right. So this is our party game category. This is the one that a lot of the wide receivers in the NFL, they're flashy. They're always calling for the ball, things like that. So yeah, we decided to go with the party game. It just seems
and throughout time
here.
Oh yeah, T.O., Ocho, Chad
yes.
Ochocinco, there's just a long line of wide receivers being party animals, and we thought that would be a good one. Yeah.
Yes. Then we go into that flex option. This is, honestly, this is the free-for-all. We can pick any game we want in this category, whether it be a heavy game, a short game, anything at all. This is where, honestly, we kind of probably find who our listeners really are when we get, I think when we're going to get this specific category. And then the last category, which I thought, Reg, was the most creative category that you came up with. And this is the coach. All right. This is that one game that is a 20-year or older game. So this is the veteran here. This is the one that kind of leads everything here, that leads the pack. So I'm really excited to see what games get picked out of this category. So there you have it. We have the quarterback, which is the co-op, the 15-minute filler, which is the running back, that hybrid game, which is the tight end, the party game being the wide receiver, the any game with being that flex position, and then again that 20-year or older game being the coach. So I think I'm ready for this, Reg. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. We're ready for first down. How many football puns can we get in here? Ready for kickoff. That's great.
So I think we haven't picked who's going to be drafting first. We're actually doing this live right now. Reggie's going to be selecting how we're going to be drafting first, and it's on to you, Reg. Tell us how we're doing this.
Let's do it. So I've got 2 D20s in my hand. You will hopefully hear this on the table, people. Jazz, will you pick green or purple?
I will pick purple.
Okay, so Jazz is purple, I'm green. I'm going to roll to see who picks first. We're going to do a snake draft. Whoever is first will pick one game, whatever category they want, and then the second player is going to pick 2 because it is a snake draft. Imagine you're playing a lovely game like Sagrada, might be on my short list, and then it goes back to the first player, and then we will pass the first player token going from there. There'll only be 3 rounds because we're just picking 6 games. So here comes the roll. A 11 for purple and a 19 for green. So I get the first overall pick. Sounds rigged. I'm sorry. You got to trust. He's got a camera. He can see it. So I've got the first player token on green. And so I'm going to pick with my first pick of the draft. We do need some amazing music here right now for the first, the rolling Reggie Raiders for the first pick. Okay, so this was really interesting. I was thinking, and when you take your first pick, I'd love to hear like what your thought process was. But half of it is like, we don't know you lovely listeners yet. I don't know what you are going to resonate with. Do I want to go with just something that appeals to the masses or something that just really is true to my heart? I just love this game. And so I kind of picked, 3 to 4 games in each category that I had a balance of both those things, but I also had one big game in here that I know we both love, and I think it has to be either if you didn't pick it first, I was going to pick it first, and that's going to go for the tight end position.
Yes, I already know it.
The hybrid game, I am picking Dune Imperium, which does include like Dune Imperium Uprising, so like neither of it. So I'll be taking Dune Imperium as my tight end for the first pick.
Very, very good pick, honestly, because if you did not pick it, I was going to come in there and take that pick. Yes.
I knew that was coming. And so just so you know, it for people who have not played it, we talked about it in a couple episodes, but it is worker placement and deck building. So that I think that fits in the hybrid one. I won't talk about my backups yet because we might be picking them later. So Jazz, you can go for the second and third pick right away.
All right. So my first pick in round 1, I'm going to go with the co-op game here. And
interesting. What's your thought process behind that?
I have a feeling that you actually will pick you may not pick this game, but I think I know what you're going to pick here. But for me, it's just, I think I'm appealing only to the masses, but also this is probably my favorite legacy game ever that I've ever played. And it's a co-op, and it's going to be Pandemic Legacy Season 1 specifically. Wow. Because, Pandemic was what really got me into the hobby. When me and my wife got this game, we played it, and man, I don't know, this is the best version of Pandemic I can ever play. Like, I'll continuously I would buy this game over and over again just to play the legacy version of this. It's just that incredible. I know other people have said some other legacy games, but yeah, this one is experiences I played for like 5 hours straight, just session after session after session. Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Wow, great pick. I really had Pandemic on my short list. I have a different co-op game that is similar, so I won't talk about that yet because you still have your number 3 pick. Yeah, that's I think a lot of people will also enjoy that, so I can't hate on that Pandemic pick.
All right, so on to my next pick. This is difficult. I'm not sure. I'm actually going to go into the party game category, a wide receiver here. And I know a lot of people are fans of Just One. And if you are a fan of Just One, you need to get this next game because it is the best party game. Every time I've brought this game out, it has hit wonders from the first time I've ever played it as a prototype, and I took the prototype everywhere I went. And this is from 25th Century Games. Green Team Wins.
Wow, that's a surprise to me. Wow, Green Team Wins is great. It's funny that we're playing the sports ball one, and it's the one that has a team game, and It's also the game that you're trying to be in the in-group, you are trying to get the most popular answer. And I have some great friends, Kenan and Alba, who I've mentioned many times here, but Punchboard Cathedral, and they both are this is not their style. Their brain is automatically trying to go to the most unique, creative answer. Yeah. And so they end up getting like no points in this game. Whereas I'm like, I love Marvel and Game of Thrones and American football. So I'm typically doing well in this game. I do love this one. Wow, great pick.
Oh, it's such a great game.
So you grabbed wide receiver, you grabbed Green Team Wins. All right. I am going to go for my second pick here, and I have a lot of options actually, and party game now I can kind of chill on, But the one I was the most and co-op, the one I was most stressed about was the running back. And I agree with you that 15 minutes or less, there's not that many great games out there. There's one I've played really recently that is awesome and that I was going to take as a backup if you grabbed the one I'm going to pick here. But this one it's got a Japanese version. It's got an American version. It is beloved. It is also kind of a hybrid. It is a Go Fish. It's like memory meets set collection. This game is Na in Japan, also known as Trio. I'm going to go with Na / Trio is what I'm picking as my running back. It is so fast. It is so approachable for young and old. I think that is going to be my second overall pick, Na.
Nice. I do like that pick. I do like it. It's actually on my short list, but it wasn't my number one.
It wasn't your number one fast game? No. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so I'm picking my third game now, so I'm going to do a double, and I think, the flex is tough because you can pick anything there, so you kind of want to save it till last. It's just it's like getting a quarterback, honestly, or a defense in real fantasy football. Real fantasy football, LOL. That's that's an oxymoron. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my coach. I am gonna go with my older game, and I don't think you've played this game, but this one is for my own love and appeal, and I love this game. I'm going with my 1992 Reiner Knizia Modern Art. I'm going with Modern Art. Yes, that's my coach. Yep, it's Auction. It's a game I love. It's been made in a million different versions. And I still remember when I first sat down at the table with my buddy Phil and our friends, and he showed us this game that had no board. It had a little bit of thing. We had money and these screens, and there was a big old gavel. And I'm like, what are we doing? I've never played a game like this because I had only played games like Monopoly and Clue and Risk. It really blew my mind, and it is lovely, and I have two versions. So Modern Art is my coach.
Nice. I like that pick. I do. And sadly, I still, Reg, have to play Modern Art. I don't know. I don't think I know anyone who owns it locally to me, so I gotta look for a copy for myself.
Yeah, you just gotta wait. I would love to teach you. This is one of those things where I'm like, I want to be the evangelist for Modern Art. I want to be there when people learn it, because you just got to really get into it and show people what it's about. I don't think it would be great if everyone at the table was new to it, which is a weird thing to say about a game. You need kind of like a sommelier, you need somebody a Sherpa into the Modern Art world. And I would happily be that for you.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, over to me. And I think, here I've got to go with my 15-minute filler game, my running back here. And I had Nana actually in my number 3 slot going into this draft. But my number 1 here is going to be the very beloved Sushi Go. Nice 15-minute, drafting game. I do love this one. It's one that's, I think, has gotten a lot of love from gamers. There is a better version, of more condensed, the Sushi Go party, but just get the Sushi Go. I think a lot of new gamers, people who are completely new to the hobby, would really enjoy and get a good fun for this drafting game.
That's so funny. I heard Jamie Stegmaier talking about this recently as an old game that he just won't get rid of the old, smaller version. He was one of the original Kickstarters, and I totally agree. I have Party here at home and I love it, but actually at my job I have a tiny little crate of a few games. I've got Scout in there, and I've got a Code Names, and I've got a Llama, and I have Sushi Go, my smaller version, because you just never know if maybe there's going to be some time where there's a lunch break where one of my coworkers is you want to play a game, or a couple people. I'm like, I got stuff in my office. It's great. I love that it's portable, and it's such a good little drafting game. You can't beat Sushi Go. Yeah, good pick.
So I think I'm going to go with my coach, which is a 1999, surprisingly, auction game. Surprisingly, same designer, Reiner Knizia, and this is the very beloved Raw. Also on my short list. Yep, good pick. I played this game for the first time a few months back, and I love it. it's probably right now my favorite auction. I got the pretty deluxe copied version, I fell in love with it with the original copy, and I said I have to get the upgraded one. It's just that beautiful. Yeah, raw has to be that.
Love that. I think we just talked about Skyrise episode 3, like last episode, and the thing about that game is it actually reminded me of Raw in terms of the dedicated chips, or that every single bidding chip has its own specific number on it, and yours is just slightly like a slight variation to your neighbor. And in Skyrise, it's buildings. In Raw, it's those giant chunky
chips, right? Yeah.
And then you swap it with the main one if you win the
if you win the bid, you win the auction, yeah.
It's great. It's so cool. I've only played it once, but I really enjoyed it. Obviously, Modern Art is my favorite Knizia auction game, but that's just so funny that we both picked that as our coach.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so you've got 4, and so I need to pick my number 4 and 5. So my quarterback is my co-op. I have not picked that yet, and I'm nervous that maybe you could pick one of these. And so I'm just deciding if I want to go with the masses or go with my heart. And I'm going to go with my heart here, actually, because you picked Pandemic. You've swayed me here. I'm going to pick same designer, Matt Leacock, his more recent cooperative game, 2023's Daybreak. Have you played Daybreak? Do you know this one?
No, I have not. Is this the one from Pandasaurus Games?
It is CMYK.
Oh, CMYK.
Yes.
Okay.
So they did this one, and it's awesome because the thing that they say, and you can see it when you look at the box, is that you could bury this board game in your backyard after you're done playing it forever, and it would compose. It's like there's no plastic, no shrink. It's all because it's a game about climate change. Like that's kind of the whole experience, but it's cooperative. And it prevents what we've been talking about this entire day with quarterbacking, because it's got like tags. It's a Tableau building tag game, like a Terraforming Mars, like an Ark Nova or something.
Okay.
And you need a certain amount of tags, within the ecology or within the technology track in order to do X, Y, or Z, to help. You're trying to sequester carbon. That's like the big thing you're trying to do as a team. It's really, really cool. It can also be a little depressing, to be honest, because it's like if you fail, you just have failed the world. But each player plays as a different world power. It's like the United States, Europe, China, and the 4th player plays as majority world, which is AKA the rest of the world.
The rest of the world.
And they all have different asymmetry, and the card play, the tableau, and then how you have to work together is really great. And you can play it solo also. I think this is probably my least popular pick on here, but I think it's one of my favorite co-ops ever. So I'm going with Daybreak.
You just piqued my interest because I like the theme. But man, when you tell me it's a Matt Leacock design, I never knew this was a Matt Leacock design. I've seen the box art, but it fell in line. I thought it was like one of those Pandasaurus releases from last year or 2 years ago. I forget. There's another game that had similar art, I think, that was like this. I don't remember the game. But yeah, this is. I'm looking at it on BGG right now, and this is one that if I saw it at the table, it's piquing my interest. So I got to definitely check this one out and see what it's all about.
And it's on Board Game Arena, so you can check it. It's one of those games that I do think games that have a lot of tags, they tend to do well on Board Game Arena because, it tracks all that stuff for you, which I think is really great. It's better real time, in my opinion, than I probably wouldn't play it turn-based, but we might have to play that on a stream or something.
Yeah, we might have to. We definitely got to have to schedule this to play this one.
That'd be great. Okay, so am I picking my number 5? Yes, I'm picking my number 5 here. Yes. Then we'll snake back to you. So all I have left is my party game or my flex. I'm going to save my flex, and I'm going to take my party game here. And my party game choice, my wide receiver, I think I'm going to go with the tried and true. Instead of the new hotness, I was considering Flip 7 here, but I'm going to go with monikers. Have you played the monikers?
Monikers is great.
Yeah, and it's a classic.
I was just talking about this game with a coworker last week, saying that this game is one of those party games that may not be for everyone, but like if you're in the right group, a setting, people who are just willing to just try anything and just kind of act silly, has made some of the most funniest
memorable
moments,
and
memorable moments in like party gaming that I've had. I mean, like from the moment I'm going to share this. I have to share this.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it. That's great. Yeah.
I don't remember I just don't remember the exact word or what it was, but I know, and my mother-in-law is going to kill me for saying this. I don't know if she's going to listen to this, but there was a word that she misread to herself, and she's trying to, for those that don't know, monikers is 3 rounds. The first round you're given a deck of cards. The first round you are you can pretty much say anything you want to describe the word on that card.
Yep.
And then the second round you're going to just give a 1-word response, and then the final round you just pretty much acting it out.
Charades.
It's like a charades to get your team to guess this, and so they're hearing it for 1 round, round 2, round, so they know the cards that are in that deck. It's just how are you going to be able to describe it. But man, round 1, she was giving this description of something that was, let's just say, sexual, but the word was nowhere close to being a sexual or X-rated or R-rated word. But for the rest of the game, that word, we knew what the word was after we found out, and we're like, every clue just fell in line with what her first
it's probably
interpretation
just like cucumber
of that
or something.
word was.
I can't believe you can't remember what it was.
I'd have to go, like, one day I'm gonna have to go into my monikers deck box and find what that word was. But man, the funniest thing was the acting out, and it just became some of the funniest clues ever. But yes,
it's great.
Some great moments with this one.
And it really is a public domain game. You could call it like Celebrity, or we called it Punch Bowl when I was like in college. I remember someone introduced it to me, and you just have everybody put a bunch of nouns on scraps of paper, and then you can play the game. But I just like the creativity of monikers and that they assign a point value to them. But the fun of it is obviously the fun and memorable moments that Jazz was talking about. But I just love that you're using the same deck of cards, and you think you're going to remember these when it comes to charades, and someone's acting it out, and they're like, how do you not remember this card? But you're sitting there like, I have no idea. And you can play with so many people. So it's a great one. I considered Flip 7, like I said, but monikers is going to be my wide receiver. Jazz.
Nice. So we've done my quarterback. Let's go into my tight end pick. My tight end pick here, it's going to be a big, heavy Uwe game. This is a worker placement tile laying game, and it's one of my favorite games of all time, and that is A Feast for Odin.
AFFO. I kind of saw that coming. Wow. I have not actually played this. Okay, yeah, give us the AFFO love here.
So yeah, AFFO love. It's one of these worker placement games that you have so many ridiculous worker placement spots to go to. So it's like you can never be blocked out. But pretty much this is like this farming-esque, I wouldn't say it's typically a farming, but it's more like this Viking theme-esque type game where you are placing your workers, your Vikings, out into these different actions to either gather resources, gain like fish, you can go hunting, you can build boats, you can send these boats on little excursion trips to gather, to go raiding, all these different things that you can potentially do. And as you go, you're going to be gaining these various different tiles, and you're going to be placing them out into these this tile board that at the beginning of the game, these tile boards are uncovered and they're negative points. So you're trying to find ways to cover up these spots on your board to score points. And the more worker placement spots are going to give you different actions. But what I really like about this game is you have a set amount of workers that you're going to increase as the game goes on. But the workers, when you place out, it's not just always placing one worker. Sometimes some of the spots requires 2 workers to go to that spot, or this one requires 3 workers to go to that spot, and 4. The more workers, the more powerful the action. But again, they're going to have more limited turns throughout the game. But managing that, and yes, it's a typical, for those who don't know, Uwe Rosenberg has this, you have to feed your workers, so you have to find ways to make sure that you're gathering enough resources to feed these workers at the end of each round, or else they're pretty much going to die off and you're going to score negative points. So, but the perfect balance of trying to gather the workers, getting the certain bigger, tile placements that you have, and there's there's tile placement restrictions, like you can't put certain types of colored tiles next to each other on the board. So really, the spatial element and the way things score is just one that it's just meaty goodness that I love. I love a meaty, chunky game that just makes me think, racks my brain, and then this is perfect for me. It's my favorite Uwe game as of right now.
Awesome. Uwe loves to make you feed. He loves to make you breed your animals, and he loves to punish you with negative points if you don't cover up a space. I just recently played Agricola in real life for the very first time, which is crazy. This just in the last few months with my buddy Phil, and we had a great time. Just 2-player. The one thing about it is the workers in Agricola are discs. I'm like, what? You just give us a meeple, give us something. But I really want to try a Feast for Odin because I like polyominoes. I know it's got that, and I've heard that you should just play it with Norwegian's expansion first time and just go for it. Yeah, do you agree? Yeah, okay.
I would agree. I didn't do it that way. I've played it honestly with Norwegians maybe twice, but yeah, just play it right off the bat. It's not going to make it any extra complex.
Awesome. Let's let you finish off, and I'll have my last after you.
I'll finish off with my flex, and this is my any game, and this is going to be my number one game of all time. Just letting people know, it's Anachrony from Mind Clash Games, which is that heavy worker placement, sci-fi theme, and I think just the theme alone is what gets it for me, where you're placing these workers out into various spots. There's this cataclysmic event just coming to destroy the world, and you're trying to prep for it. And you're going to go into these exosuits and go out into these various spots, and you have different workers. But what's really cool is that you can kind of jump back in time and kind of create this like little, what they call it, a paradox. And you don't want to create too many paradoxes because that's how you're going to, have negative repercussions throughout the game. But this is one of those games that it has many expansions and things like that. But if you get the base game and you get Fractures of Time, that's the best combination to play this game with. And definitely get the Exosuit Minis expansion. It just makes the experience that much more great. But yeah, Anachrony, my favorite game of all time.
That's awesome. We got to play this together at some point. It's on Board Game Arena also, isn't it?
It is.
That's
yes,
crazy.
It is.
Wow. Yeah, Anachrony, good pick. Wow, you have made me completely changed my mind now. I was going to go with one very specific Stonemaier game that I think has lots of wide appeal, and I was going to hide in shame of my favorite game because it is divisive. Some people don't like it, but you have inspired me to make my flex my number one game, and I'm going to pick Wingspan as my sixth pick, my flex, because I was thinking Viticulture, but then I'm like, I've got Dune, so we'll see. I'm picking Wingspan. I love this game. I always have. I have the bird theme very high in my heart, obviously, because I am a bird watcher in real life. I live in an area in the Pacific Northwest where we have a lot of beautiful birds around. But I just love this game solo. I love this game 2 players. I love this game as the 7-player flock mode, which is absolutely insane if you've never played it. And there's multiple expansions coming out. I have everything that's been out for this game. I just bought the fan expansion packs that are coming. The engine building in this game is so satisfying to me personally. Every single time I play it, trying to build the best engine, try something completely new with the 400 plus cards in the game every single time. But for me, just figuring out how to be super efficient in this game has always been the puzzle that I want to solve, where you're trying to put a bird that lays eggs in the forest, because then every time I'm grabbing food, I'm also laying eggs. I want to put birds that draw cards in the wetland, in the grassland, so that every time I'm laying eggs, I'm drawing cards. Also, just little tips and tricks. It's a lot deeper than I think people who've only played it a few times give it credit for. It's got its, cousins of Wormspan and Finspan, but it's always been the one that I've loved. Wingspan, Elizabeth Hargrave is my flex pick that I'm pivoting last minute. It wasn't even on my short list. I was considering other ones, but I'm going, that is it. Locking it in, Wingspan. Wow.
Oh, I love that pick. It's a great game. Honestly, I haven't played Wormspan. I haven't played Finspan. I honestly have no desire to, unless if I'm invited, but it's one of those things I'm not looking for. But Wingspan, I obviously have not played it as much as you have. I don't know all the ins and outs of this game, but it's one that I do enjoy. I do love playing. I've played it I want to say probably 7 or 8 times. But again, I love this one. Yeah, so I couldn't go wrong. Couldn't go wrong with that one.
We'll have to just do a day. We're gonna play on BGA. We're gonna play. What was the one we were gonna play on here? We're gonna do a Daybreak co-op, and then we're gonna play Anachrony and Wingspan. So we need to just have a million hours to do.
And mix in a Feast for Odin. In there, right?
Throw
so
a Feast for Odin too.
Holy,
well, that'll be a crazy day. Okay, so my list is Dune Imperium, Nana, Modern Art, Daybreak, Monikers, and Wingspan. Jazz, what is your list?
My list, I'm going to go, my co-op is Pandemic Legacy Season 1. My 15-minute filler is Sushi Go. A Feast for Odin as my hybrid multi-mechanic game. Green Team Wins as my party game. Anachrony as my flex any game. And Ra from Reiner Knizia as my 20-year or older game.
Yeah, that's great. This is going to be awesome. So we're going to have a Google form for you guys. I honestly, looking at them, it'd be a tough call. I'm very curious. This is going to tell us what our fans enjoy, what our small but mighty, you amazing listeners out there like. So please just don't, if you want to leave some comments, give reasons and stuff, totally send us an email, comment on YouTube. Spotify has comments too. We're very excited to hear what you think about that.
Yeah, and we'd also love to hear what would be your team. Like, honestly, let us know what your team would be, your 6 in these categories, on what you would have selected or drafted here, because I love to see what other people what they love to play and where their thoughts are at as well.
For sure. And we are definitely, if you do this, we will 100%. One of you, we're going to at least say hello here. We'll give you a shout out and say what your 6 are. We really want to get the voice of the people, la gente, and we will talk about that in some future episodes. Okay. That was our board game draft. We might do some different ones in the future. Thank you for listening to that. We will close out, as we always do, with En la Mesa, which is our first impressions. And normally we both bring a singular game and we talk about them. We just go back and forth. But today we're going to joint talk about something we played together. It was really, really exciting. And now we're in a turn-based game of this. This game is Ahoy from Leader Games. We want to say thank you, both of us. I believe you got a review copy a while ago as well, or no?
Yes,
and so did I. But that didn't really matter because anybody can play this right now on Board Game Arena. And we Jazz just kind of decided, like, hey, I want to showcase this on the day that it dropped, like, officially. It was in early access for a while. It is typically a 2 to 4 player game that is completely asymmetric. Dice placement. It is very much similar to the other Leader games, Root, where each faction kind of has their own different abilities and goals and strategies. And honestly, in this game, it goes a little bit further with some of the mechanics we'll talk about in a second. And it is a game that you can play 1v1, or you can add a third player in that has totally different mechanics, or a fourth player that also has that. And so those factions are really, really the big piece of the game that makes it unique. So I'll give Jazz a chance. Maybe what are your first impressions of it after we played this? And I know you've played it a lot more than I have. But yeah, let's go for it.
So this is one that's kind of been on my shelf for a little bit. It's one that I said, you know what, I got to bust this out, play it, because Root, I haven't been able to get back to the table as often. I probably played Root 4 times, like in real life. All my other plays of Root have been on the app. It's just because of finding the right group that wants to play it, understands like the rules overhead is very high. And when I heard that Ahoy, Brooke over at Leader Games was very kind to send me a review copy and said, Jazz, if Root is a hard one, check out Ahoy. Let us know what you really think about it. And I played it with my game group at 3 players, which I think it's a perfect game to play at 3 players, because that's what my actual game group, steady game group is 3 of us. And it's perfect because you can play with that area control. This game has it has 2 games kind of set in one, where there's this area control between the 2 main factions, which is the Bluefin Alliance, the Bluefin Squadron, and then you have the Mollusk Union, where the Bluefin Squadron they have this physical presence on the board. They are very attack oriented, very beefy. And then you have the Mollusk Union, who is, trying to spread their
influence,
presence, their influence everywhere throughout the board, onto these various islands with their comrades, kind of like the Woodland Alliance in Root.
That is exactly what they remind me of, and they say comrades too. So yeah, definitely like the green faction from Root.
And then the Bluefin Squadron. This is kind of like the Marquis de Cat, is how I would say, from Root. They have a lot of presence. They can place these patrols out on the board wherever they end. They could place a patrol in their region or an adjacent space around them. But then they also have, if you're playing a 2-player game. But when you add that third faction in, which is the smugglers, it adds this pickup and delivery element to this game, where the smugglers are just going around to the various islands, smuggling goods, and they're trying to deliver it to specific islands. And what's cool about the smugglers is that they influence how the game is scored, because they can tick up the die that's on each region's space, depending on their choice and which die they want to tick up. And they also have this like blind bidding aspect to their gameplay as well, where they're trying to guess which of the other 2 area control factions will control certain regions throughout the board, so that they can score more points, which is, honestly, we're in a, like I said,
I was going to say, so we're in a turn-based, I was going to say, we're in a turn-based game on Board Game Arena right now with some of your friends, and we're playing 4-player, and both Jazz and I got the smugglers. And in our first play, we played as because if you're playing 2-player, you have to play as the Bluefin Squadron and the mollusks, the mollusk union. So blue and yellow, there's no smugglers in a 2-player game. And so both him and I are actually figuring out the smuggler mechanics like as we're playing this turn-based one. And it's so interesting. And I actually remember hearing about this game when it had dropped. I was very new in the hobby. I had kind of just learned what the term, worker placement was. And so it was kind of saying, this is a area majority game for 2 factions. And if you're in a 4-player game, and a pick up and deliver game for the other 2 factions. I remember hearing that people were so excited about that. And that's so interesting, because Brooke also reached out with me with a similar message to you, but I have said very, openly on my channel, I really love welcoming lightweight games that I can teach to new people. And I think Root is clearly, and we're comparing it to Root because it's in the same company. It's similar in a lot of ways, area majority a little bit. It's got very asymmetric factions. But for me, Root has just been too hard to grok. There's too many variables. There's so many things going on. And if you are not playing with a consistent group, I feel multiple times a week. I feel like you need to be, or at least weekly, like you need to be playing it every week, and everybody needs to be at the same skill level. And I think this game kind of removes some of those barriers, which I personally appreciate. And so it gives you that same, again, this is the thing about Root, is that I want to love it so much. And I think Ahoy is one of those games that I could sink my teeth into, even with this new expansion content that is on the way, that a lot of it's already out, that you can go check out. I just love the idea of a game that, the base game plays very specific way. And it's really unique that you have to even have your seating arrangements around the table are set by the roles that you're playing. The Bluefin Squadron always goes first, then next to them has to be a smuggler, then next to them has to be a yellow, and next to them has to be another smuggler. So very interesting in that way. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the dice placement. I think that was really unique, that you place 2 dice on your turn. Every faction does that. But then just where those places are on their board is awesome. And it really reminded me weirdly of Unmatched, where the Unmatched decks, every Unmatched deck is a completely asymmetric deck, but there are these cards like the feints, that every single deck has a feint, and most decks have momentous shift, or depending on the character, wily fighting, they kind of have these basic cards that are all the way throughout. And so this game has, everybody can sail, and both the main factions that we played have cannons, but then we had a couple other unique abilities on our player board. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm so excited to dive into it more, and I'm just less daunted to bring this to my friends. I think if I was the only person who knew this and I was teaching all my friends, we would pick it up relatively quickly. And that, I think, is the biggest pro I would give for Ahoy.
Yeah, and I think the more you play this game, the box says 45 to 75 minutes, and I think that's spot on. I know, honestly, our first play wasn't like, on BJ. It took longer. We're learning it. It's one of those games that you're just also trying to understand the rules, how everything kind of works and functions. But
We figured it out. we did.
Every game that I've played physically, like real life, it's kind of hit that spot, like, you know, around like 60 to 70 minutes. But once you play it, and then we're like, hey, let's play this game right again, and we're taking it down to like under an hour for a 3-player game. But it's one of those, like, you can have a lot of fun just with the base game, which I just fell in love with. I think the first time I played it, we played it 3 times in the course. I played it 3 times in the course of like 4 days with my game group. And I reached out to Leader Games, and I says, yeah, I think this is the one that's kind of just sealed the deal for me over Root. I do enjoy Root, but this is the one that kind of fits that niche with me and my game group. And they were like, oh, there's the expansions are coming out. So I was like, I gotta get these expansions. I walked into my FLGS, friendly local gaming store, one day just to pick up some other things that I was getting. And lo and behold, I'm actually getting ready to leave the store, but I turn around to say goodbye to the store owner, Jim, over at Mr. E's Games in New Jersey, Berlin, New Jersey.
Shout out to you, Jim.
Who might be for the local area.
Shout out to
you. And what catches my eye but the expansions for Ahoy. So there you go. I made 2 more purchases there as well. But man, if you can just get one addition to this game, it would be the Ahoy Treasure Pack, which just adds more cards to the game. It adds like this ghostly gang die. Just adds a little bit more, just some of these cool like different corruption tokens, things like that. But just changes the gameplay a little bit without having to learn any new factions, which I think gives you that, you know, makes the game different, adds some more variety to the game. But again, these only come into play when these cards come out, which is pretty cool. In the market row.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome.
It's one that I'm going to be tabling a lot.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to be playing this one more in real life. But it was a really good implementation on BGA. If you go back and watch the VOD, we were obviously struggling to get the rules.
Yes.
But it was fun to figure it out, and I really had a great time. Shout out to Brooke for being there. I always, with my first impressions on my YouTube channel, I always like to talk about why you might not like this game, and I do want to acknowledge that if you are a mega Root fan, if Root is a game that, you know, it is what you really need, that level of depth and ability to go so deep into all these different factions and have all these different strategies, I think this has a lower ceiling. For sure, Ahoy has a lower ceiling than Root, and I think that's fine, obviously, but it just might not be for you if Root is your base level of complexity for a type of game that makes you happy. So that's our first impressions of it. I think it was great. I'm really excited to keep playing it on BGA, but more excited to really get this to the table with my friends and see what they think, because if this could become a regular game, I would really, really enjoy it, because that's what I wanted Root to be, and it never really sung for my group. So I'm excited about Ahoy.
Yeah, definitely. I know this is one that I'm going to continuously be playing more and more with my game group, more and more with my friends. I know my brother is one that I introduced this game to, and he actually really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
And he's a video gamer, so that's
yeah. I think it does have maybe a little video game things there. I talked about Dicey Dungeons was a game that it reminds me of, which is a Steam game. So awesome! Wow, we are getting low on time here. Jazz, do you mind signing us off of Board States episode 4?
Of course, Reg. I appreciate it. Like Reggie said, we always welcome you to the best hobby in the world, which is board games. But here at Board States Podcast, this is where friends become rivals and the board states decide the outcome. If you want to, again, after this episode, if you listen, go reach out on boardstatespod@gmail.com. Let us know your votes for who had the best draft on this episode. Also, let us know what games would you have selected in the certain categories. We'd love to hear. We'd love to share with you. Comment in the YouTube comments. Let us know. Again, you can vote there as well. But also, in the description, wherever you're listening to the podcast, you will be able to find a link to the Google
form. We'll do a Google form.
The Google form. Yep. And you can actually vote right in there on what your favorite, who's your favorite draft was for. But again, we appreciate you. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Nos vemos.